Okay, so let's take a look at how you can set up WordPress instance on Google Cloud, right? So first thing that we will do is we will set up the project, and we will also set up billing on Google Cloud. If you have 90-day free trial, you can also try the same. Now first thing is to go to your top menu, then click on compute engine, then click on VM instance. Right now, once we go here, we'll be checking out variety of options available for us, right? So first we will let it load at least the VM instance part. Now if we scroll to the left, you will see variety of settings available for virtual machine. There is also this marketplace options that you can explore, right? So now here I'll be checking out option to set up WordPress, right? And we have to find out the free option for this as well, because we don't want to use our credits on this, right? So I'll be taking a look at free by filtering it with free. And if I take a look at this, click to deploy option, you will find it here, right? I can launch, and that should start my VM instance. You will notice that infrastructure will be charged based on the type of CPU we choose, and it will cost this much amount approximately, right? So what we can do from this point onwards is we will just go back, and we have our marketplace access. Now here I'll be clicking on VM instance. Let me reload. And as you can see, I don't have any instance right now, so I will click on top this link particularly to create an instance. So click create instance, and that should load. Now here I'll be naming my instance. So let's see, Word VM. This is for setting up virtual machine for WordPress, right? Now I will set the region and also have its own. So basically this US West data center is my region, and also have zone which is US West, right? So the next thing is machine configuration, right? And here you will notice that you have selected general purpose by default through this instance form, so we will keep that as is. If you want to go low, can go low as well. So 1 CPU and 2 GB memory is also fine. That will just reduce the load, right? Here you see now our price is reduced to $14. If you want to go even more lower, but that won't be a good idea. But there are people who do run this on minimal, so 2 eCPU and 1 GB memory is also possible. We'll go to the price of 7.99, right? So what I can do, I can go in between. We'll go with small instance that will charge around 13 or so, right? Once we selected that, price will be reflected here. Then you also look at the CPU and memory here. If you want to enable the screenshot or so, you can run with that. Then enable display device to take screen capture option. There is also confidential VM service. You can enable disable in case if you want to keep the memory of your VM encrypted, right? Next is container, where you can deploy the container, set everything up for that particular container image, right? Next thing is boot disk, where you can see you are going to set up this WordPress instance. So what you can do is, let's see, custom image, and here we can take a look at available image option. If we don't find that, we click marketplace, right? Also another option being, we can also access entire option through this particular instance, right? So marketplace instance, where we will be choosing WordPress, right? So we will set free as one of the criteria for that software, then we will just search with WordPress. And when we search WordPress CMS, you will find that we can now access that. So here you see WordPress click to deploy option. Right now it looks like this. We can click launch and it appears, and within VM instance all the details will be transferred, right? So we can configure from that point onwards. It will check the APIs, what is enabled and not. You can see not enabled, so we can enable them, right? So in case of Google Cloud, lot of small details go into, and we will have to look for everything is enabled. Now we can move to our WordPress setup. Here you see total cost per month. We have one shared CPU, 2 GB memory, and standard disk, and so on. So if I choose instance name something like Word VM, and if I choose the zone, then the cost will reflect. Deployment name contain lowercase characters, so I will just use lowercase. Okay, fair enough. Now let's move to our CPU part. It is already chosen for us, so no need to worry further. So here I will have to give my email address and install phpMyAdmin https enabled. You can have that. So I will be adding my email. Next I will move to boot disk. Here you can pick between 10 or 20, and on the right you will see what will be installed: Apache, MySQL community server client, then MySQL community server, then PHP, WP CLI, WordPress, phpMyAdmin, right? After that we will have firewall rules to set up. So I'll be allowing both HTTP and HTTPS. I can also allow stack driver too, so it will help with management and monitoring. If you don't want that, you can keep it unchecked, right? And creating firewall rules may expose your instance to internet, so that's fine. I will let it happen. Now by default we will be getting certain IP ranges to use with this instance, so we'll accept that. And what we will do is we will click deploy. Once deployed, it will show you what is available with the instance. It may also give you all the option to access your VM. Here you see the password generator Python script is in play as well. On the right you will also find passwords for that instance, your admin user admin password, which is temporary, which will be forced to change once you log in, right? All of those scripts are running in tandem, and once everything is deployed we'll be able to access the instance. So let's wait for that. Okay, now it will tell you that Word VM has been deployed but contains warnings. So we'll take a look at those in details. Resources from beta version. Okay, so that's fine for me. Now let's hide that and come back to the place where we can check our deployment, right? So once we go there, next is going to our instance. So go to VM instance. Let's take a look at what we have. All the details should be there, hopefully. And as I told you, for login there was always that tab where everything temporary listed, right? And we can log in. So for now what I can do is, when you click on this particular VM's SSH access, it should give you the option to log in. Considering SSH keys are accessible throughout the project on Google Cloud, this will be used to give terminal access. So it has some Linux version, so it will allow us to check that. Now after the installation, we can see that we have access to our particular Linux instance. So I will use ls cpu and then ls blk, right? And we can also have host info access, and as you can see that command is not accessible, but we pretty much have access there, right? Now let's take a look at our instance particular ports if I want to access them. So I will just click on instance, and next thing I will do is I will take a look at what is available. So let's go and check our network interface. We have particular set of IPs that we can access what's available. Okay, so let's copy that and let me paste it. Let's see what's available. Here you see our WordPress is also listed on this external IP address and not the IP address assigned for internal use, right? So here you see if I click on this particular post, it will show me the WordPress post as well, right? And in the top it says WordPress on Google Compute Engine. And as we already have the username and password to access this backend, and that is temporary password, so we will be changing that later onwards. If you want to get rid of this instance, you can do so as well. You can simply select this instance and click delete. That should get rid of this particular instance, right? So let's see if we can get it deleted. And when it gets deleted, it will delete entire stack of that WordPress from our VM, right? Along with all the other installation parts like your Linux, your server software, and so on. So this will not be accessible as well, right?